Sharing my journey, a risk-taking journey, starts way before the day I was born. I was 2.5 pound premature baby and started the risk of being here today. 2.5 pounds, 108 kilos, 52 years. There's a lot of risk in being here. The word Samir on its own is itself a very uh, meaningful word. It means the wind. And I think that right from birth to now, I've been in a hurry. I was 2.5 months premature, and today, as I speak here in TED, I myself am wondering that am I here at the right place or not? I was born, people say that I was born with a silver spoon. But being born with a silver spoon is a very big task. It's a very big task. It's a boon and a curse. Boon is that it opens doors when no other doors were open. And the curse is that even before your name is taken, you got to maintain the image that the name brings with it. Like they say, the name comes first and you come second. That is the risk that you take of being born in a big family, industrial family in India. Life for me has been a risk from the day one. From being born, from going to school, from finding friends who believed in Samir and not in Samir Modi. Because the name itself carries its own weight. But at the same time, along with the weight, one tends to get lost. That is it for me as a person or for me as a name? And that has been my constant struggle from the day I started walking on this earth. I also believe that the topic of risk is very, very conducive to the fact of belief. If you believe in something, then the risk is worth taking. If you don't believe in it, then that is where the fault lies. My journey of learning started when I was 12 years old, when I went to Doon School. Doon School has been a very big learning experience for me from a point of view that today, being here today would not have been possible if I wasn't studying in Doon. Doon gave me the legs and the wings that I have today. It gave me to be an individual, and it also told me that how to take a risk and how important the risk is. I remember a story in 1987. I had been practicing to be a boxer. I had boxed for 17 years with undefeated boxing championships. And I could go back to 1986 when I was asked to participate in the Delhi State Boxing Championships. And I spent 4 to 5 months practicing with the Gurukha Regiment. But when I came to Delhi at the YMCA, there were close to 100 people who were trying up for the championships. And I stood on the weighing scale and I realized that my weight in the light welter category was just fine. But the senior who was accompanying me, his weight was the same weight as mine. So the boxing captain told me, Samir, you can't box. You come back next year. Because the senior who's there with me was in the same weight that I was. And I thought to myself that if I don't box today, what will happen? One, okay, then naak kat jayegi, my nose will be cut. Two, I'll have to go back to school with my legs, with my tail behind my legs, saying I went and nothing happened. So I had 24 hours to gain 3 kilos. Now you may think that's impossible. But when you believe in something so hard, when you believe in something so convincingly, then anything is possible. I spent the next 24 hours having eggs, milkshakes, and bananas. And the next day, I was 3 kilos up. And therefore, that was the first conviction saying that if you believe, and if you believe anything is possible. And I went on to box at the Delhi State Championships. I went on to win the championships. And I went on to become a Delhi State, a national champion of India. I'm of the firm belief that if you believe in something, then the I am possible becomes very much possible. The impossible can change to I am possible. My grandfather, Raibal Gujarmal Modi, started a journey in 1936 by being the finance minister for the Maharaja Patiala. And he left after fighting with him with just 400 rupees. And he believed that if you have a will, you can achieve it. It's that example or that legacy that has gone from him to me to being born at 2.5 months premature, 2.5 months 2.5 pounds baby to being here. And I'm of this principle that once you decide something, it'll happen. I've led my life in a very simple principle, and that is to fight against all odds. You may think that I was born with a silver spoon, which I have been, but at the same time, being from a business community of India, it has put undue pressures on me. I learned firsthand what it takes to make money. I started an exchange program in Australia, worked in an Indian restaurant 7 days a week, and that's when I first realized how tough it is to earn a rupee. While you are in a business family, money comes very easily, but when you are in reality where you need to be, at that point, you realize that even $1 takes hardship. I worked for almost 6 months. I put together $1,600. At that point, it gave me the belief and the confidence that I can do anything that's possible. Today, the big change in my life happened 18 years ago when I was 34 years of age. I was asked by my father to step down from the family business. And there I was on crossroads. 34 years old, my friends being in business, running large enterprises, and here I had no employees, no office, no job, and I was basically unemployed. So I had to finally put the reset button again. At that point, I was lost. At that point, I was depressed. At that point, I didn't know what to do. And I questioned every single move of mine. I questioned when I opened the door. I questioned when I sat down. And at that point as well, I was so angry. I was so upset. I blamed the world. I blamed my father. I blamed God. I blamed society. And as I look back today, 18 years later, I'm thankful. I'm thankful, I'm grateful that I had the chance to take a risk all over again. For all those who have been in businesses, for all those who have worked in businesses, do realize that there comes a time in one's life when one has to really figure out what to do. For me, that wasn't a choice. It was given to me. It was handed on the platter saying, you need to step down. And today, there are two things that happened. One, if my father had not asked me to step down from the businesses that I was doing, which was Modi Care, I wouldn't have learned. I wouldn't have been able to start 2 new businesses, which is Colorbar Cosmetics and 24/7. But more than that, it wouldn't have taught me that if you believe in something and you're willing to give it up completely, that's the only way you'll succeed. Today, 18 years later, I have come back to Modi Care 5 years ago, and I took back the reins that I started with. And in that short time of last 5 years, the business has grown from 96 crores to 2,100 crores. Only for the simple reason that 18 years, or what you get 13 years, what you call Banvas, or 13 years, taught me many things that I'd done wrong. It made me introspect. It made me think twice about what steps to take. And along the way, the idea of risk became very much part of me. Risk is only there when you think it's a risk. A risk becomes a short way of going forward when you think that it is you. When you believe in something, and my mantra of soch badlo, khud ko badlo, dunya badlo, is predominantly based on that. You change your thinking, you can change yourself, and change the world. It's just a matter of how you place it. What button do you press? And this is a very interesting story of how I came across this principle. I was talking to an audience just like yourselves 4 or 5 years ago, and I uttered this word, soch badlo, khud ko badlo, dunya badlo. And at that point, when I came back, I realized what I had said. How do I tell an audience of 50,000 people to change their thinking when myself, I am blocked in changing my thinking? And I thought hard that what do I do that's different? I had been fighting with my father for a family separation for almost 8 years. And I said, what good is that fighting? It don't get me anywhere. So this concept, soch badlo. At that point, I said, if I have to demonstrate my thinking, to myself, then what is the first step I need to take? So I went to my father and my mother. I signed a blank piece of paper. And I told them I'm not going to fight again. It's your wish, what you want to give me. And it is my ability of making whatever there is to make. You don't give me anything, I'll be okay. You give me something, I'll be okay. And that was the first step to freedom. A first step to really say that this concept of risk is just based on belief. And today, 5 years later, when after giving the letter to my father and my mother, the blank piece of paper, I think I'm being blessed. Because to gain something, you got to risk it all. If you're not willing to give something, then you should be not willing to gain anything. And that risk of giving up what I had held the most precious thing to me is one thing that gave me the freedom to make me the most precious thing I am, that is me. And this concept of my life is very, very simple on the George Bernard Shaw saying, when you see things, they are and ask why. I dream things that never were and say, why not? And that has truly been my principle of life. My mantra of life is to say, challenge the core, challenge yourself every day. And this is the biggest risk you can take, because every day you have to reinvent yourself. Every day when you sleep at night, you're thinking what's going to happen tomorrow. And one mantra that also led me to be where I am today is to make amends for the day that's gone by. That when I sleep at night and I put my pillow on my head, that is one time I realize that whatever I've done wrong, I need to make amends tonight. If I've done nothing wrong, I can sleep. And if I can't sleep, that means that today I did something that I shouldn't have done. Whether screamed at something, got upset with somebody, took an action that was not right, and a chance to correct yourself and a chance to reset the button once again. Life, age. Age is just a number. We all think of risks. I was in a Modi Care event 4 years ago, and I saw this 75-year-old lady sitting on a corner. And I went up to her saying, ma'am, are you the son, daughter, grandchild? She said, no, I'm here for myself. So I said, yourself meaning what? She said, I'm a Modi Care consultant. I said, ma'am, at 75 years of age, you've been a consultant for many years? She said, no, I became a consultant 6 months ago. And I said, why are you here? The first time in my life, I have my own money. First time in my life, I've taken the risk to step away from my comfort zone, get involved in my own business, and first time in my life, I feel free. I don't need to ask my husband, I need to ask my son, and the money I earn is the money I have. So that is the entire power of belief. Many years ago, I was with my father, and I said to him, Dad, when will I stop being a trainee? I started training at 18. I was 20, still a training. At 25, still a training. At 30, you still call me a training. At 35, still call me a training. I become 40 years of age and still was a training. And I crossed my landmark 50 years of age. And you still call me a training. In fact, I remember a story. I was at a family function and my father calls me over and says, come have a seat. And one of the leading businessmen of India, Mr. Biani, was sitting with him. And my father said, Kishorji, meet my son. And I said, Namaste, Kishorji. And he said, can you take my son under your wings? So I looked at my father and I was a little baffled in what he's saying. He said, why don't you teach him some marketing? And at that point, I had already created almost a 2,000 crore enterprise. But my father still felt the need to tell me that you need to learn. And that was another window of saying that you never stop learning. The day you say you have become a guru, that is the day your life is over. But till the time you're born, till the time you die, I believe you'll continue to learn. The principle of Meraki, that whatever you do with a little bit of love and creativity in whatever you give out there. have been something that held me in great street, has something that has truly given me the wings to fly. Risk taking. How many of you feel that risk taking is a new word? It's not. It is a word that lives with us. It's just recognizing what it means. For me, the word risk taking means life. If I did not have the ability to take a risk, I would not have the ability to stand here talking to you. Is it about the risk or is it about the journey? For me, life is not the destination. Life is the journey to the destination. And if today, if today one is able to take that into our spirit, that whatever we do, we'll do with wholeheartedness, whatever we do, with complete belief. And even if you don't believe, you'll still do it. Because of that very reason, that if you believe in yourself, then you can turn anything in front of you into an advantage. So all those who are listening there, risk is a boon, risk is an advantage, and risk gives you introspection to look within yourselves. So if you don't believe in it, believe in yourself. At the same time, soch badlo, khud ko badlo, dunya badlo. If you can make that your mantra, which is the mantra of soch, then there's nothing in the world that can change you, nothing in the world that can move you, and nothing in the world can take you away from where you are. I am today grateful for this soch. I'm very grateful for being able to reinvent myself every day. And I'm very grateful that risk has become a part of me, and that God gave me the gumption that to be in an incubator at 2.5-pound baby to today, hatta katta, you may call it a strong man. If I can get from there to here, then I'm sure that no risk is a risk to go life. So thank you very much for hearing me, and I hope that with the moments that go on, soch badlo, khud ko badlo, dunya badlo can become your mantra, and with that, your life can become risk-free, because risk-free is actually a risk that becomes there to free you. So thank you.